I was an early 2010s kid, so like a lot of us, I grew up with the 3DS. Remember the demos they used to give out for free on the shop channel that had bite-sized chunks of the game, but you could only play it so many times before it disappeared? Yeah, those were the days. This was a marketing tactic that worked on me because a demo I remember so well was a game called Project Crosszone. I don't know what caught my eye, maybe it was the boobies, but I remember after playing the demo just once, I immediately had to buy it. And it was a good purchase too. The game came with a poster, a soundtrack, and even an art book. The game is a collaboration featuring Sega, Capcom, and Namco. I always thought of this as their version of Super Smash Bros. Now you see this roster and you're like, oh cool, Capcom's got Mega Man, Street Fighter, and Resident Evil, and Namco, they gotta have Tekken and Pac-Man. Oh, but Sega, yeah, they gotta have Sonic. Who the fuck? Okay, I recognize her. Yeah, you can really see which company gets the best localization out of the three. It's really less of an all-stars type roster and more like exclusively their anime characters. Unlike Super Smash Bros., this is a turn-based RPG, in the style of something like Fire Emblem. You go through battle after battle with certain objectives, and try to keep your party alive. Something that made this game really unique to me is during a fight, you actually pull off combos like it's a fighting game. Of course, the enemy just sits there and takes it, but I don't know, I still think it's pretty cool. It's kind of funny because as a kid I never liked Pokemon, I always thought it was boring. But actually controlling the characters and seeing them pull off the moves, I quite like that. The soundtrack is mostly comprised of music from each series represented, along with an original song by Yoko Takahashi, and an animated intro by the ever-incredible Studio Trigger. One of the most memorable things about Project Crosszone is how fucking loud the game is. Like, every battle you get in it just sounds like... I don't speak Japanese, but I have a feeling if I did, this would drive me nuts. I specifically remember playing this game without my headphones one time as a kid, and my parents were like, what the fuck are you playing? Project Crosszone did well enough to produce a sequel, including one of my favorite additions to the roster, Sega Sanshiro. Yeah, a character from Sega Saturn commercials that beats you up if you don't play Sega. I love that. Project Crosszone is a game near and dear to my heart, and its sequel is pretty damn good too. It was also a gateway into all these more obscure series that I've never heard of before. Most important of them all, and the topic of today's video, is Sakura Wars. Being an American Sakura Wars fan is kind of hard, and that is for one bit of sad reality. Of the 5 original mainline titles, only 1 has gotten an American release. Coincidentally, this is the only one to take place in America. And it makes sense, this was before anime got popular over here, and I think we just weren't ready for this kind of thing yet. As well, Sakura Wars was a product of the Sega Saturn and Sega Dreamcast, 2 consoles that did notoriously poor in the United States. And it's a real shame too, because I could totally see Sakura Wars as to Sega as what Fire Emblem is to Nintendo. So where did I start with the series? Unlike the video games, the anime is pretty accessible here in the United States. So I started with the 2000 anime, simply titled Sakura Wars. The anime follows a story similar to the first game, taking place in a futuristic version of the Taisho era of Japan. The whole series takes place in an alternate history where the world is more technologically advanced, and Japan is using their military for fighting monsters instead of committing horrible atrocities of humanity. The leading lady is a girl named Sakura Shinguji, who is on her way from her home in rural Japan all the way to the capital for a new role in the Taito Kagekidan. Taikoku Imperial Assault Troop. She arrives and she's surprised to see that it's a theater and she's the newest addition to a troupe of actresses.
William Shakespeare?
It's not long before she finds out that the theater has an unexpected other side. By day, the girls put on performances of plays like Shakespeare, and by night, they defend the capital from an onslaught of monsters. Sakura wasn't only their newest actress, she's also their newest pilot of their steam-powered mechanical fighting machine known as the Kobu. In the beginning, Sakura messes up, she knocks things over, and she has a rocky start with her team. But along the series, she slowly gets more comfortable working with them, and she finds her place. Now, this was my introduction to Sakura Wars as a series, so I have a lot of nostalgia for this anime, but after several years of growing up, I've finally been able to face the reality. Sakura Wars, the anime, is not very good. I mean, it's not garbage, it's passable, but if you're not a fan of the series like me, you'll have a very hard time getting into this. I think a big misstep this anime takes is trying to follow the original game, but instead of Ogami, Sakura is the main character. See, in the game, you play as Ishiro Ogami, a naval officer who is assigned to the Imperial Assault Troop. He goes through the same motions Sakura does in the anime, confused on why it's a theater, but soon realizing his role as both the team's captain and the theater's ticket taker. In the game, you feel a sense of camaraderie between Ogami and all the girls. He's the one who brings them all together, but here he feels barely noticeable. I think the biggest problem with the series is one fatal flaw that really kills it for me. And that is that the series never really has fun. It's kind of mellow. Like, something that's so great about Sakura Wars is that it never takes itself too seriously. It's a bunch of theater chicks and robots fighting ghouls in the 1920s. It doesn't have to be so serious. But this anime just feels so restricted. Not to mention the relationship between all the characters just isn't there. It kind of feels soulless at times, and even mean-spirited. I think one of the worst transitions from video game to series is Sumire. Like in the game, when her and Sakura or her and Kana clash, it's like, oh, look at that, that's cute, they're having a little cat fight. But here in the series, she's just got problems, like, it doesn't seem healthy.
Sakura, how many times are you going to miss it before you get it right?
I'm sorry, let me try it again.
I don't think you really care about being on stage at all. Tomorrow is the anniversary of your beloved father's death, isn't it? You shouldn't miss the ceremony on account of some misguided sense of importance, dear.
What an asshole.
I promise, I'll get it perfect if you'll just give me a chance.
How many times have you said, I'll get it perfect if you give me a chance? You'll never get it right, no matter how hard you try.
Sakura, that is quite enough out of you. Now let's just continue with the rehearsal.
Very well, Director. You're obviously all determined to make me look like an idiot. But the one thing you can't do is force me to play along with your stupid game. Goodbye.
Sakura!
What an asshole!
Ogami isn't a love interest anymore, and I mean, props to him for keeping the relationship professional, but without all that, it cuts a big part out of Sakura Wars, and that's the romance. All this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, yeah, it's kind of boring, and has a very slow feel at times. On the other, this is a darker version of Sakura Wars that we don't often get to see. It all has a very mellow, late-night feel to it. The animation is very good. The show has some great color. This anime came out in 2000, yet it still uses cell animation. Personally, I really like it. It looks vastly different than most other Sakura Wars productions. As well, this game never forgets it's set in the 1920s. Yeah, it has a very good anchor in its own time period, unlike the other series where they straight up forget sometimes. Where the show gets lackluster, however, is the fight scenes. I understand why making a fight scene with the Kobu might be hard. It's no Evangelion, it's practically a potato with legs, but come on, they could have done better than this. It genuinely feels like the makers of the show were more interested in an action drama about girls in a theater troupe rather than a mecha anime. Something I do like about the series is how all the girls feel like they have a role. The characters in Sakura Wars are very important, and they do a good job at not forgetting anybody. Everyone from the main cast is here. Sakura, Sumire, Maria, Iris, Karan, and my favorite, Kana. All the voice actors here do a good job as ever, which makes sense. They're all pretty much synonymous with these roles. The English dub I also really like. Some of the characters in my opinion are actually better in English, like Iris for example. I don't know about y'all, but I really can't stand the high-pitched squealing voices that are so often given to little girls in anime. The English dub gives her a more realistic voice.
Don't close your heart. The heart can drown in the words you have left unspoken, and the heart can dry up in the empty spaces where the ones you could have loved should be. It can grow into a desert. Do you want that? Don't close your heart off. Open it up like you open your hand.
It's a shame though, as she's replaced for a worse voice actress halfway through the series.
When I had a birthday party in France, the table was full of birthday cake and French food and presents. Lots and lots of wonderful presents from my mommy and daddy.
Kana's voice, on the other hand, is Sin.
Wait, who's this? You must be Sakura.
That's right. I am Shinguji Sakura.
Hey, Karisha Makana. I fight for the flower division too. Nice to meet ya.
Yeah, Yogi Bear voice. That sounds right for the character. Why did they choose that? All in all, the 2000 anime is competent, but it's lackluster in too many ways to be worth recommending. Remember in my Gundam Wing review when I said that there are some things that we like even though we can't explain why? Sakura Wars is like that for me. It's a really flawed anime, but still, I wanted more out of this series. Maybe a 25 episode series is not the original way Sakura Wars was intended to be enjoyed. So stay tuned for a part 2, where I delve deeper into the series that I love so much.